All right, we will be taking notes through a video today, and we will do this in the future from time to time as well. You should have your notebooks out. You should be taking notes just as though I were up in the front of the class teaching the course. If at any point I'm going a little bit too fast in the notes, let Miss Aubert know. She can pause the video, rewind the video, and we can go from there. So today's notes are from section 5.4. 5.4 is on point slope form. Point slope form. Before we get started with point slope form, we are going to start with one review question. Example 1 is a review problem, and it asks us to write an equation for the line with slope 6 and y-intercept -3. Write an equation for the line that has a slope of 6 and has a y-intercept of -3. So we are given the slope of the equation, and we are given the y-intercept of the equation. So if we have the slope and the y-intercept, we want to start with slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, remember, is y equals mx plus b. M is slope. Slope is 6. So I'm just going to put 6 in for M. B is y-intercept. -3 goes in for B. Y equals 6x minus 3. Easy enough. We had one similar to that last class on the quiz. We took notes on problems like that last week. Let's try example 2. Example 2 is a little bit different. It asks us to write an equation for the line that has a slope of 6 and passes through the point to -3. Write an equation for the line that has a slope of 6. That sounds familiar. Same thing as example 1. But then it needs to pass through this other point, to -3. So notice this time we still have a slope, but we don't know the y-intercept. Because I don't know the y-intercept, I don't want to start with slope-intercept form, because I don't know what b is. I don't have anything to plug in for b like I had the y-intercept here. So when that's the case, if I have a slope and a point other than the y-intercept, we are going to use what is called point slope form. So leave a little bit of space because we're going to find this equation in a minute. But we need to talk a minute about what point slope form looks like. Point slope form. If I have a point and a slope instead of a y-intercept and a slope. So point slope form is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Hopefully you recognize m. M is slope, just like it's been for the last couple weeks. And then the other thing we need is x1, y1. x1, y1 is any point on the line. Any point on that line can go in for x1, y1. So notice I have a point and a slope, which is why it's called point-slope. We will use this if I don't know the y-intercept. If I know the slope and I know a point, but I don't know the y-intercept. So let's go back to example 2. It asks us to write an equation for the line. We know the slope, we know a point. So if I know a point and a slope, we are going to first write down point-slope form. We know what slope is. We know slope is 6, so we're going to put 6 in for m. And then remember we have our point x1, y1. So x1 is 2, and y1 is -3. So this is going to say y minus -3. Minus, minus, we can change that to plus. So now we have an equation. It is in point-slope form. I didn't write it here, but almost always it's going to say, write your answer in slope-intercept form. So our answer needs to be in slope-intercept form. Even though I don't know the y-intercept, my final answer should be in slope-intercept form. So we need to change from this point-slope form to slope-intercept form. And we do that by distributing this 6. So 6 times x, 6 times -2. And then subtract 3 from both sides. We're trying to get the y by itself. We get y equals 6x, -12 minus 3 is -15. Y equals 6x minus 15. Example 3, same type of problem. It asks us to write an equation for the line with slope -1/2 that passes through -4, -7. Actually, let's go -4, -7. Write your answer in slope-intercept form. We need an equation for the line. It needs a slope of -1/2, and it has to pass through the point -4, -7. It says write your answer in slope-intercept form. That doesn't mean we have to start with slope-intercept form. Go back and check what we have. We have slope, and we have a point. If I don't know what the y-intercept is, I do not want to start with slope-intercept form. Because I know what the slope and the point is, we are going to start with point-slope form. Any test or quiz I give you, it will say right on there, it's not going to say this stuff down here, but it will say point-slope form, and it will give you the formula. You just need to know when to use it. So because I have a point and a slope, the first thing I'm writing down is my point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Slope is -1/2, so m should be -1/2. x1, y1, That's the x and y value of the point. So this says x minus -4, -4, x minus negative is going to change that to a plus, y minus -7. Again, minus and negative changes it to a plus. I have written an equation for the line that has a slope of -1/2 and passes through the point -4, -7. The problem is my answer is not in slope-intercept form. To change to slope-intercept form, we distribute -1/2 times x, -1/2 times 4. 1/2 of 4 is 2. Negative times positive is minus. Subtract 7 from both sides. I get y equals -1/2 x minus 9. I want you to try this one. Let's call this example 4. Same type of problem. Write an equation for the line that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point. Let's go -3, 1. So I want you to pause the video right now. I want everybody to try it on your own. Once most, if not all of you have got it, go ahead, start the video, and it'll show you how to do it. So we have slope and a point. Let's start with point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Slope is 2. My point is -3, so x minus -3. 1 is my y1. Y minus 1. Distribute. And then add 1 to both sides. I get y equals 2x plus 7. So that's the first type of problem. It gives us a slope and a point. Example 5 asks us to write an equation for the line that passes through the points 2, 7, and I missed my D. 4, -1. Write an equation for the line that passes through the points 2, 7, and 4, -1. I want you to think for a minute about what's different about this problem. What we could possibly do to fix that. Hopefully you've recognized that they don't tell us the slope this time. On the previous 3 problems, examples 2, 3, and 4, they told us the slope. They didn't give us the slope. They just gave us 2 points. But last week we discussed how to find slope given 2 points. So the first thing we need to do, if they don't tell us what the slope is, we need to figure out what that slope is. So to find slope, we do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That will give us slope. I can label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2. I plug in the stuff where it belongs. y2 is -1. y1 is 7. x2 is 4. x1 is 2. -1 minus 7 is -8. 4 minus 2 is 2. -8 divided by 2 is -4. My slope is -4. It doesn't ask what is the slope. It wants us to write an equation for the line that passes through those 2 points. Well, to write an equation of a line, I need a point and a slope. Well, I have 2 points and a slope. So let's go to point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. My slope is -4. And the point you use, it actually doesn't matter. You can use either point you want. Because I've labeled this one x1, y1, and it says x1, y1 in here, I'm going to use this one. Generally, if one number or one point has big numbers and the other one has small numbers, I would use the one with small numbers, would be easier to work with. But it doesn't matter which point you choose. So I'm going to put this point in for x1, y1. So x1 is 2, y1 is 7. One thing you have to be pay attention to, though, if I use this x value, I have to use the y value that goes with it. If I use 4 for x, I have to use -1 for y. You can't mix and match. And then we finish the problem. Distribute. -4 times -2. Negative times negative is +8. Add 7 to both sides. Again, I want you to try one. We'll call this example 6. It is the last one. Same type of problem. Write an equation for the line that passes through the points. Let's go 1, -9, and 4, -6. So pause the video. You try it. Once most of you have it, check the video. It'll show the solution. First, we find slope. Use our slope formula. Label our points. y2 is -6. y1 is -9. x2 is 4. x1 is 1. Minus here, I'm going to rewrite that as a plus. -6 plus 9 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Our slope is 1. Go to point-slope form. My slope should be 1. I'm going to put 1 in for m. x1, I'm going to use this point here. So x1 is 1, and y1 is -9. Minus -9 changes to plus. Distribute your 1. 1 times -1, and then subtract 9. Y equals 1x minus 10. 1x you could also write as x minus 10. Either one's correct. That is it for today's notes. The homework assignment will be posted. You'll have some time to work on that today as well.